ladies and gentlemen, members of the jury. I'm Ashwati Dorje, Special IGP and the Director of the Maharashtra Police Academy, somebody who is passionate about institution building, value addition, and capacity building, all of which were tested during the time of the pandemic. We in Maharashtra Police Academy during the time of the first lockdown had 680 trainees who were sub-inspectors, 670. There were 10 DYSP trainees. Campus which was full of 200 faculty members, their families, security staff, migrant workers who were involved in construction work, and all our support staff amounting to nothing less than 2,000. The safety of our trainees, our faculty members, everything was a primary concern. There were a lot of logistic challenges. The more important one was the challenge of continuing training, especially when around us, every training institution, forget police training, had shut down one by one. So there was basically a question of confidence building in us to start with, and then in our trainees. So we started with what we do best, and that is training. Training of our officers first. I had meetings with my staff separately, basically to assess their requirements and also to know their health profile, their status, what are their challenges, what are their comorbidities. Then I took sessions with the trainees. You can see them sitting there before me. They were having very rudimentary masks, something which we provided in 3 days, 1,500 masks in 3 days. And so Maharashtra Police Academy is a pioneer in e-learning. And we're thankful that we could use that resource to the maximum. E-learning provided us and gave us a platform to continue our training online to our trainees, whether it be indoor training or outdoor training. You can see images of our trainees performing yoga and our instructors performing, instructors giving classes on weapon handling. Safety and access control to our entire campus, which is about 150 acres and located right in the middle of Nashik city. So during the first wave, Nashik city got affected, highly affected, as soon as the unlock began in June, July 2020. At that point of time, we had to be extremely sure that the disease was not entering into our campus at any point of time. So we had to devise measures wherein any entry point was left with a solid medical team and a disinfection team, which made sure that every person, every vehicle which entered, every article which entered was disinfected. We had a solid medical team ready, which conducted medical checks of each of our trainees at least twice a week, and each segment of the campus population at least once a week. You can see them in the PPE kits, checking the trainees for the temperature and the SpO2 being held on the other hand. The trainees were instructed about strict social distancing. I myself used to go to the mess halls to see whether the trainees were comfortable and speak to them, make sure that they were not with unnecessary fear or concern. I spoke to their parents. Some of them, in fact, contacted public representatives. I spoke to the public representatives, assured them of the steps that we're taking, and in the end, they were convinced. So you see the vaccination. This is again undertaken by our tiny hospital staff. We had only 8 hospital personnel, including 2 doctors who were available. And they undertook the task of providing vaccines. So this is polio vaccine being administered to children. We had about 5 babies in the campus and 3 pregnant women. We made sure that the vaccination campaign was conducted without any hitch. And preventive doses of medicine which were provided to us were distributed to everybody. I remember distributing Camphora, arsenic album 30 to everybody in the campus, irrespective whether they were staff or faculty or trainees. The logistics and isolation facility were again a major challenge because there was a funds crunch which is there. So we set about preparing our own masks, our own sanitizers from what we could gain online. Nashik, as you would know, sir, is known for as a city of vineyards. So we had contacted companies which were in the business of making wines. We got isopropyl alcohol from them. We got other ingredients to make the sanitizers. We put together the PP kit, which you can see. The yellow part being our own raincoats. We had to just tweak our raincoats to make sure they're fully covered, and they had the advantage of being washable and reusable. So we used the sanitizer on them and used to clean them every time. We had the onerous task of providing daily articles, including vegetables, fruits, milk, to the population of the campus. And this was not confined to the trainees, but to all the family members. So we made teams, special teams for this task. We found that the children of family members had lost their jobs subsequently after the lockdown began. So they were sitting at home and creating issues. Instead, we recruited them into our teams. They were recruited into a medical team. Those who were working in private labs were used as part of the checking team. They would be there at the entrance, checking the visitors for their SpO2 readings and for their temperature. We recruited them into our stores team, which used to provide articles to the staff in the campus. To the trainees, we used WhatsApp groups widely to gather the requirement of the trainees for these articles. For the store articles were daily clothing articles, parcels which used to come to the academy. You would remember, sir, that e-commerce was not banned even at that point of time. The parcels also had a certain protocol to follow, which were kept outside in the sun, sanitized, and then provided after a period of 18 hours. Regular medicines, the faculty and some of the family members had comorbidities which had to be attended to. So a particular officer was kind of designated to collect information from them through WhatsApp groups and then buy medicines. For any consultation, regular and routine, we used telemedicine facilities and made sure that the minimal exposure was there. Even at that point of time, we had not banned leave. So all those who were going out on leave, when they had to come back, they had to stay in, they had to report to the hospital, then stay in compulsory quarantine facility, the one which you see the photo below where the person is resting, and have their RT-PCR test conducted. Only if the negative RT-PCR, then they're allowed to join back the training. We also had construction work going on in 6 sites of our campus because we were set to host a major sporting event, a state level police sporting event in the months which were unfortunately disrupted by COVID. You can see, sir, on the right side, the kind of facilities we have: an artificial turf, FIFA certified, International Hockey Federation certified football and hockey turfs, volleyball and basketball grounds, a synthetic track. All these were prepared by migrant workers, basically hailing from UP, Bihar, and West Bengal. And they were all struck. The initial week after the lockdown began, the contractors just left, leaving them in our care. So we provided them accommodation. We opened our hostel to them. They were sent into the hostels. They were provided provisions. They could cook their own food. And then they were able-bodied people in the younger age group. A great concern for us was how we will utilize their energies, channelize them properly. So we involved some skills training. We provided them training in making phenyl and soaps. These were also required in our campus in the hostels because we had specified that all the hostels, especially the washrooms, had to be cleaned twice a day with phenyl. Now that had a demand, so we were giving them the supply, and we also paid them just to make sure they felt they were productively occupied. Now, as the unlock began, we got the work completed because they were in situ labor. And in August, we made sure they were registered on the proper platform and saw them off on trains and hired buses for them to return to their villages so that they feel happy and they'll come back to work in Maharashtra and in our academy. The innovations we did, sir, at the left, you will see the ladies, they are part of our self-help group of police personnel's wives. We had created them in 2018, but during the pandemic, they stitched 1,500 cloth masks, 3-layered masks in 3 days flat. And that was a major confidence building exercise for everybody in the campus. On the right to that, you see the team of the hospital in the store preparing their alcohol-based sanitizers using their some downloaded recipe, but it worked, and it worked well because it is alcohol-based. Below you see a tractor, which is basically used for spraying insecticide in the vineyards, being modified with new nozzles to spray sodium hypochlorite throughout the campus every 2 days. And on the right of that, you find a box which has files inside. This is basically a UV ray box because our office was functioning throughout the pandemic. We created a box with the wood which was lying around, which was of disuse, and fitted it with UV lamps. And this was a disinfection tray, which was made at a cost of around 4,000 rupees. And in addition to this, we used the community resources extensively. We reached out to cold storage chains, which helped us store vegetables in massive quantities because we are buying them in bulk and supplying them, keeping our supply chains open, and also to Isha Foundation, which helped us run an Indian engineering course for free to all our cadets. We also ran line for psychiatric help and counseling for psychiatric help and counseling with the help of professional psychiatrists. There was a phone-in facility not only for our trainees but also for our staff.
I request you to please conclude the presentation.
Victory in the time of pandemic, sir, you would see on the right, the number of batches, it was almost similar. We could achieve excellence in passing out 680 sub-inspectors and deputy superintendents of police. 13 IPS officers also completed the attachment. Departmental exams, which are hitherto conducted by the Maharashtra Public Service Commission, was also given to us during the pandemic year, which we successfully completed by sending password protected papers online and having it conducted in their own headquarters. 50 webinars, and all construction activity which was started in our campus was concluded in the pandemic year with no extra cost. All the faculty and staff of the academy as of now are 98% vaccinated because they're awaiting the next 2 batches. This time we are going to have 737 joining next week. The faculty have received training, better communication skills, and how to engage online better with the students. Indoor-outdoor curriculum has been tweaked. We have also boosted our hospital supplies, and sensitization campaigns have been carried on with the help of medical professionals online. Separate hostel rooms and earmarked washrooms are what is awaiting the coming batch. And we are also in the process of creating a 100-bed facility for isolation prior to testing and as part of recuperation. Now, the MPA model, and when MPA started its work in combating the COVID, the training was not on in any of our training institutions except MPA. There are 12 police training institutions in Maharashtra, but MPA was the only one. Now this MPA model has been replicated in all the constabulary training centers, and at least 6 of them are conducting courses with trainees right now. MPA has been assisting field units with our expertise. We were one of the first to prepare SOPs and share it with the state HQ. MPA has also been entrusted with a research unit of police. We have into a wide process of documentation, and we are using studies which are conducted actually in the field. And with the field units, we have, for instance, we have done a study about how vaccination has helped reduce the impact of the disease. Even if a person who is vaccinated contracts the disease, how less it affects him and what is the difference and the impact on his or her health. And COVID appropriate training protocols have been strictly put in place, and also the SOP, as I already said, wider use of technology. I don't think we will go back on that. Wide use of technology, e-learning, that will be just a step-up platform. We will be creating more material and going in for version 2. And the stress and nutrition fitness, because we realize that vitamin D and C are more important than remdesivir. Thank you, sir, for allowing me the opportunity for presenting our own form of independent and honest police training. Thank you.
It's a good effort which you have done. I think this initiative is really praiseworthy. My only point is when we take all these initiatives, we should also keep in mind of the baseline and the outcomes which are achieved, the impact and the outcomes. And it should be in one way or the other, there should be some measurements, quantitative measurements of the achievements which are there, which can be spoken in not more than 5 or 6 points. So that is something which I would really, if you can do some thinking on it and come out with some objective, quantitative, measurable outcomes for which the baseline is also available, I think that will really help you to make the initiative sustainable and constantly improvable, because most of these things have to be improved as you go with time, because the environment changes and everything changes. So it would really be useful to you. I think it's an excellent effort what you have made, but if you incorporate these 2 things, it will be even better.
Thank you, sir, for that.
Sharmaji? Madan Mohanji, anything else?
No, thank you.
Chaliye, I think we can go to the next